BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for the Farming Today podcast. I'm Kaz Graham, and in this episode, farmers say the pig industry in Northern Ireland could have had its bacon if proposals on improving water quality get the go-ahead. But let's start with shellfish. We have been harvesting shellfish in the UK for centuries, everything from lobsters and oysters through to mussels and winkles. Towns like Whitstable and Cromer are famous for it, and although we don't eat as much homegrown shellfish as we used to, it's been described as an industry with huge untapped potential. All this week, we're going to be sampling what UK shellfish farmers and fishers are up to, the challenges they face and how they're faring. To set the ball rolling, I've been hearing from David Jarrett, Chief Executive of the Shellfish Association of Great Britain, who told me where we sell our shellfish.
We are exporting most of our product, which is really sad. 86% of our shellfish landed in the UK is exported, predominantly to Europe. Some goes to the Far East and beyond, but the majority of the market is Europe.
How has that changed since the UK left the EU?
Leaving the EU has been disastrous for us. Huge swathes of paperwork, bureaucratic problems, border inspections. It has caused massive industry upheaval. Small businesses have gone to the wall, and the bigger businesses are spending hundreds of thousands of pounds on paperwork. Of course, the biggest impact on our sector was the live bivalve market, where we had, 98% of mussels produced in Wales have stopped. The industry's gone because they've lost the market to Europe.
Now, when there was the EU-UK summit in May, the new SPS, or sanitary and phytosanitary agreement, that aimed to improve things there. Has it made a difference?
It will make a difference when it is implemented. It hasn't yet been implemented. In fact, we don't even know the detail of what yet is to be agreed. If we get what is being anticipated, that is to say frictionless trade without export health certification, etc., that will be an absolute game changer. But at the moment, industry has not been impacted by the positives at all yet.
Have other markets developed during the time that we haven't been able to export to the EU?
No, in the live bivalve sector, small amounts of mussels have been able to be depurated and be sold, and oysters the same. But the main market wants them straight out of the estuary or the sea, and we haven't been able to fulfil that main market.
Tell me about some of the other challenges.
As far as bivalves are concerned, oysters and mussels, it is predominantly market, it is predominantly water quality or pollution that is the problem. If there's a sewage spill, water companies are not forced to do any level of compensation. So the polluter pays principle does not apply when it comes to water companies, which is exceedingly damaging to the sector.
When it comes to markets, why isn't there a greater market for it here?
Well, sadly, I think there is a market, but we don't have fishmongers anymore like we used to. It's availability rather than the market demand.
What do you think the potential is for the shellfish industry here?
I think for the shellfish cultivation industry, there is a huge potential for growth. We need better regulatory regime to allow cultivation to occur. We need cleaner waters, undoubtedly. But the industry at the moment is held back. And it's really sad that we're not given the opportunity to grow through the archaic regulations which we adhere to.
David Jarrett from the Shellfish Association. Now, dry stone walls are an ancient feature of the British landscape, with the oldest surviving examples dating right back to the Bronze Age. So it is perhaps surprising to learn that a brand new dry stone wall is being built as part of one of England's biggest road construction projects, a new £500 million highway through the Cotswolds near Cheltenham. The 4.5 mile long wall will run beside the new road. Built without mortar or cement, work started last year and won't be completed until next summer. Vernon Harwood has been along to see how old is meeting new.
The traditional tap, trim and hammer of the dry stone wall are at work, as all around a new 8-lane highway is under construction.
Hello, my name is Billy Bennett. I'm a foreman here. Most dry stone wallers, if you talk to most dry stone wallers, it's not just a job. You do it because you love it. And that's what I feel when I'm walling. It's something that's in the history of this country, and it's something that's in the history of me. It goes back in my family, so it's an important part of our culture and part of our history.
Alongside the team of experienced wallers, 8 apprentices have been taken on. But Bernard McEnroe from Master Stonemasons UK wants to see more.
We haven't got as many apprentices as we'd like. We've done a recruiting drive a number of months ago, and we got very little feedback from it.
Why was that?
I don't know. I can't put my finger on it.
You want to see more done in schools?
Well, if we take our farming education, I would like to see the dry stone walling being part of it, especially in areas like the Cotswolds, that these young kids coming up know how to maintain their boundaries, their borders. They're able to do it, they have the knowledge doing it. And that's really important for the next generation and the generation after that.
The senior project manager for this site with National Highways is Celine Accard. Why a dry stone wall? Because you could have a hedge or a fence or nothing at all.
True, but it was agreed following consultations with our customers and our local residents as well. And to make sure we were delivering the right scheme and leaving the right legacy, we agreed to actually build the dry stone wall.
Do you know how much the wall will cost?
No, I don't, but that's something definitely we will be in a position to release when the project is finished.
In the walling industry, the average cost of one day's work, including materials, is £686. So working on about 2.5 years of working days, we reckon that's anywhere between about £440,000 and £500,000. Is that good value for money?
I can't comment on that, I'm afraid.
It is taxpayers' money though, isn't it?
It is, and this is why we eventually reduced the length. Originally, it was going to be 10 kilometers, but to make sure we are putting ecological mitigations in place, wooden fencing and other bits and bobs to make sure we were doing the right thing, we managed to reduce it to 7.5 kilometers.
Can you imagine any of your ancestors working on something as impressive as this, 4.5 miles of dry stone wall?
I don't think they would have been involved in a project of this size. No doubt they would have been up to the task. One thing I always do is I leave coins in the wall. I'll leave a couple of coins in the wall.
If somebody's listening to this in 80 or 90 years' time, it was Billy's money you found.
Yeah, and good luck finding it. Needle in a haystack springs to mind, yeah.
That's dry stone waller Billy Bennett. New proposals to improve water quality in Northern Ireland could prove fatal for pig farming there, according to the Ulster Farmers Union. The Nutrients Action Programme aims to reduce agricultural pollution in lochs and rivers, and it would involve limiting the amount of phosphorus and nitrogen that can be spread on the land in slurry. The consultation on the programme has already been extended once, and now the Ulster Farmers Union says that pig numbers would need to be reduced by as much as 80% if the plans get the go-ahead. Well, Louise Cullen is BBC Northern Ireland's environment correspondent, and she has been following the story.
This new Nutrients Action Programme should have been out several years ago. The last one effectively ended in 2022. So farmers have been in limbo, policy has been in limbo, and now we have this new Nutrients Action Programme consultation out. The problem is that this is a serious issue. The Office for Environmental Protection looked into this. They said the agriculture industry in its current form is making unsustainable demands on the environment. And this is out for consultation, and it has provoked quite a response.
How have these proposals gone down?
Since the consultation was launched, the Ulster Farmers Union has been saying that it's out of touch with day-to-day farming. They have criticised them. They say that asking people to move to low-emission slurry spreading equipment as a mandatory, compulsory requirement is simply not practical, given the nature of farming in Northern Ireland, where 23,000 out of 26,000 farms are classed as small or very small. And then there are schemes like the sustainable utilisation of slurry. They all need time, farmers say, to have a positive impact. They've actually called for this consultation to be halted. They've called for things to go back to the drawing board.
The Ulster Farmers Union is particularly concerned about the pig sector, isn't it?
Yes, they say that in a best case scenario, pig producers will need 12% extra land for slurry spreading. That's because in the proposals in this NAP are reducing the amount of phosphorus that can be put on the land, and that brings another 3,000 plus farms within the derogation frames. So at the minute, just over 400 farms or so actually get a derogation for slurry spreading because they are larger, because they produce more slurry. This measure would bring more farms in, and the Ulster Farmers Union says pig farmers will be affected and that they would need extra land to spread the amount of slurry. And they say that, a single 300 sow bacon unit would need another almost 1,500 acres.
What happens next then? I mean, when does this consultation end?
Well, the initial consultation's actually been extended already. It should have ended towards the end of June there, but it's been extended by the Minister through to the 24th of July. And that's because there's been so much pushback. The Ulster Farmers Union, along with a number of other agri-food stakeholders, actually signed a solicitor's letter to the Minister warning him that they would seek legal action to try to halt the consultation if he didn't call a halt to it. Now, they haven't acted on that yet, but it's an indicator of just how strongly feelings are running. The Minister said that after the consultation ends, he is going to set up a stakeholder group with farming, with environmentalists, with the agri-food sector to come up with a series of workable proposals and then move to another consultation period of around 8 weeks or so, with the aim of getting this in place when it should start in 2026.
That's Louise Cullen from BBC Northern Ireland. And that's it from us for today. I'm Kaz Graham. The producer is Rebecca Rooney. And Farming Today is a BBC Audio Bristol production. Now, what is the weather going to throw at us this week? Let's find out with Farming Today 5-day forecast from the BBC Weather Centre.